Yeah, I am Marcia Davis. I am the owner of multiple restaurants and event centers here in Atlanta, Georgia. The way that they can actually locate me, you can actually reach out to my Instagram, which is Marcia Jury Davis, or you can actually reach me at my email address, which is marcia at portraitonaplate.com.
Diversified Game. Learn how to start, run, and sustain your business.
Hey, it's Kellen, and today on Diversified Game, you heard it right in the beginning. I have Mrs. That's MRS period Davis. I just want to let y'all know, and y'all who know why I'm saying that, but she is going to give us the game on why she made a journey from St. Louis to Atlanta, and the journey won't stop. But she's going to give us the game on how she became an entrepreneur, why she became an entrepreneur. Mrs. Davis, how are you doing? Welcome to the show.
I am doing great. Thank you for the invite.
Well, thank you. And we want to thank your PR team as well. We love publicists over here because we love our own. But, you're an entrepreneur with I hate the cereal because everybody is saying that now, so we got to say it in Swahili or Spanish or something. But you have multiple businesses going on. Where do we start? And you tell us where we start and why you started that business.
Absolutely. So my basically original business and us getting into catering started back in about 2011. That was a partner. Of course, everybody knows that my husband is my business partner, so we've both been into businesses like over 15 years now. But yeah, we started back in 2011 with just a catering company, based off of him working in a restaurant, just putting something together, and a lot of people asking for different chefs back then, and we created a catering company to start, and it was again back in 2011.
Okay. And, we always like the chef to get a shout out because without the chef, a lot of folks would be starving, maybe to death. But the catering company then blossomed. Let us know what type of tapas, what type of food that you are doing with that, from the catering to the restaurant.
Absolutely. So with the catering company, it's actually I want to say like modern American food. So we could do anything from Alfredos, from different to soul food. So we have multiple chefs too. So if they need anything like jerk or anything like that, because I see your side on your shirt.
Oh, Cameroon is in the house. This West Central Africa in
So
in the building. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So, but what most people don't know with our catering company, if we cannot cook it, we do pull in other chefs to assist us with making sure that we're able to cater towards those styles of food. Just like you just said, we have multiple restaurants. So, a couple years after even opening up the catering company, we actually then branched into opening the first barbecue restaurant here in Austell, Marietta, Georgia. Did that for a couple years. And then we blossomed up to opening up Airbnbs, to then opening up our current restaurant as well, which is Esco Marietta. And what people don't know is we did Esco Marietta in our event center at the exact same time. So then we blossomed into open up in our event center, and now our second location in event center.
Okay. Now, I really want you to shout out the chef, your husband's name, because people are gonna say, "Wait, hold on, you have multiple restaurants, multiple business. You must have married some type of ball player or John Hope Bryant's baby or something." Like, give us the layout how you open one business and then open another, because there's a lot of bad game out there and people think it's easy
Absolutely.
and they think it's fast. And you just said, you were doing this over a decade. This didn't come overnight.
Absolutely. So my husband is Mark Davis. His Instagram handle is actually, I think it's Chef Mark Davis. I'm gonna have to go back and look it up. But yeah, he's on, and you can reach him too through our social media, which is Esco Marietta. He answers that too. on our social media handle. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, feel free. I know how to be quiet, but how many businesses would you say that you guys have, and how many of those are restaurants or maybe even different catering, and how do you organize that? Because people right now, like with ADHD, their minds are blown. Like, how can two people do all of this?
Absolutely. So right now, um, let me kind of start back. So just like you said, because people think that it's very easy and it's not. So with opening up multiple locations, I want to make sure that I'm clear that when they say that you have to have a team, they are very correct about that. So even with opening up our first facility with Porch on the Plate, which was our catering company, there was no team in that. That was just me and him. To get to the point that we are now, when we started the first location, which was Porch on the Plate Catering, we started building out a team of people because we can't be at multiple locations. So we started building out a team of people who can, if we have multiple catering events or multiple gigs, that we could spread those people out. And that's where we kind of learned on how to develop business, trials and error during that time. Once we got kind of like the masterpiece on what we needed to do, we branched into opening up ATL Fusion Barbecue. That's where we got a little bit more deep dive into hiring people. So that was the first time that we started scaling, because now we have to hire actual employees versus contractors. So that's how we learn how to master payroll, how to organize the actual people to put everybody in a different position, to make the business grow, for us cashiers, cleaners, just down to all of that stuff. Once we master that, that actually brung us into learning how to go into the next restaurant, which was now a bigger restaurant than Porch on the Plate. Yeah, I'm not sorry, not Porch on the Plate, ATL Fusion Barbecue. ATL Fusion Barbecue has always had maybe no more than about 5 or 6 employees at a time. But with the other restaurant, which is Esco Marietta, we now have 40 employees. So with that, so now you have to more master how to conduct to make sure that all of these people, because of course you have different employees who have different personalities. So you have to really, when it comes to the personalities, you have to really place those people where they need to be. Okay, is this person maybe doing a very good job, but they have bad skills in somewhere else? Can I use them and move them to this area and still use them, or should they just be pretty much terminated? Because your employees is actually what grows your business, because you're not working there. So we've stepped back out of the restaurant and have trained all of our employees down to our management on how to run the actual locations, outside of ourselves, because that's I think personally, one of the biggest things that people mess up with is trying to stay in the business. And you can't really stay in the business to have it grow. You have to train people, put them in place to make sure they're able to help develop the company the way that it needs to be.
You said something. If we stopped right now, y'all got some gold, because so many people in business, and I'm going to focus on Black business especially, or even, people might say other minorities have the same issues, because you do one thing and you do it real well. You think you can do everything and you can handle everything, but nobody has that much time in the day. So have you already written out the book so people can learn that you didn't just say, I'm going to be everywhere at once, and that I put certain people in place so I could sleep at night, so I could go on a date night, so I could go hang with my family? Is the book ready to go?
It's not, but it's something in us to the actual future. Right now, we're just still focused on growing the other companies. And then we're going to actually focus on that, because I want to be 100% into making sure I detail this, because as you say, a lot of people are just out there just telling people anything, definitely in the restaurant business. You hear all sorts of stuff, or what you see in the restaurant business that I feel is people are growing too fast before they've
Mhm.
actually have you handled customer service? Have you handled what your marketing needs to look like in this business? Have you handled how to develop different recipes inside your business? Have you worked every single position in your restaurant to know when you do hire somebody what to actual look for? So I want to make sure that we're putting every single thing, every single detail, and it doesn't just seem like a scripted AI version of something.
You've tried it your way, but you're still in debt. Or maybe you're doing okay, but want to invest smarter, grow faster. MillionaireX.ai gives you real step-by-step strategies to ditch debt or stack wealth. Stop dreaming and start planning. Visit MillionaireX.ai today. I want you to be the next millionaire next door.
Okay, and thank you for not putting out the AI slop that so many, so many are doing with, having that many restaurants. What would you say you and your husband's real skill set that you like, the business that you love to do? Because of course he loved the being a chef, but now it's managing the people, how much food you have, like what is the skill set that you say makes us different where we can have multiple things going on all at once?
I would say we have different things going on at once. I could say we're very strategic. We don't move fast at all. So everything that we do is completely planned out. Like if we're opening up a new event venue right now. We planned this over a year and a half ago. And then when we felt that the time was ready, when we felt that all of our other businesses were able to carry their own, and that's another thing, if they're not able to carry themselves, we don't just open up another location. We kind of focus on those businesses, make sure they're actually running correctly, and then open up something else so that you can have 5 successful businesses instead of, just a ton of businesses that you think are making money, but you're actually pushing more money out.
Oh, where did you learn that skill? Did you go to Harvard, Yale, or the Harvard of the South, Grambling State University, where my wife and I went? But where did you learn that skill set? Because so many people in business, you can even see it on Shark Tank or Lion's Den if you're international, and people don't know their numbers in business, no matter where you're at in the world.
I'm actually, and I think both of us to say he actually went to school too, but that's just to be a chef. But when it comes to business, we're self-taught. So just buying courses, we are both, I'm constantly buying courses to learn different things, and I just take what I think from those courses and apply them to myself, and it's trial and error. So it's things that we actually do. If we fail at them, now we go back to try to figure out what happened, or maybe a situation has arisen and we have to take care of that situation. So trial and error. Now we know what to do. So just building all of those things and putting them together, you actually learn. And one of the biggest things I tell people is look online. You see people place their situations online. When you see people, these different restaurants, these people are now getting online and telling you that their business is not doing well. Their business is struggling or this. So I go look at that and see, really, since they put so much on social media, you're able to kind of deep dive in their situation and say, okay, if your restaurant failed, where can I see that I think you went wrong? And most of the time, those people will tell you where they think they went wrong at as well. And so you just learn from their situations and say, hey, let me make sure that I'm not, if their restaurant failed because of that, or their business failed because of that, let me make sure in my structure business, I'm not doing that so that I'm still successful in what we are doing.
I love that. And when you went to school, tell the people what you studied, if that helped you. Because right now with AI, people are saying, what is school if AI can answer all the things that we're going to need for business? So give us, your journey on that qualifies and helped you, or if it didn't help you, give us the game.
Absolutely. So I went to school for business and marketing at Harrisville University. Now, just like you said, I don't feel that helped me on this journey, because back then it's more of a textbook thing. They just kind of really have you reading textbook scenario. So as I said, just learning from trial and error and seeing what other people have did, that has actually benefited me more than actually going to school. So it's basically being hands-on with your actual business, just starting out slow, letting yourself fail a couple times, not fail with losing your business, but just different things inside your business. Like we just learning how to do payroll. I was never conductive of learning payroll. So now I have to, learn how to do payroll. When you are hiring payroll companies like that have different YouTube videos. So instead of just trying to say, hey, I'm just going to start this payroll, let me go look at their YouTube videos, see how their system fully works. Because just an example, sometimes we have systems and we get this system and we necessarily are only using the system for what benefits that we think we need. But then if you go back and actually really, really study the system, you find that it has a vast amount of things that you could have used or introduced to your company that you never would have thought that you would have. Like our payroll system actually offers an HR department. I wouldn't have known that if I wouldn't have I was just looking for payroll and how to pay my employees. But now, okay, now you have HR. So let me try to introduce this and use their HR department for my company.
Okay, I know, I dig it. I dig it. So, do you think that education to be able to, follow your path could be replaced in certifications, getting a great mentor, paid mentorship at that, y'all? Is that traditional education still, something that you would recommend? Because a lot of people right now are deciding, should I go another semester or not?
Absolutely. I think school is based on, like, if you're going to become a doctor, of course you need to go to school. If you're going to become, something in that field, if you're going to become something in the tech field, you have to go to school. If you plan on opening your own business, your own company, I think it's based on what type of company you're opening up. Let's say you were going to open up a plastic surgeon company. Of course, you need to go to school, learn how to be a plastic surgeon first, and then try to maybe take on the back of the business. Because example, if one of your employees don't show, you have to be able to know how to do surgery. But it's some companies like mine, you don't really need school. I think that, just like you said, just getting a couple certifications and broadening your horizons really on, and working with different chefs and mentors and all of that, you will get more experience doing that and feel like it's more hands-on than school. Because school actually has you to sometimes do kind of like volunteer work to learn in your field. So why not just do it on your own already? So yeah, I don't think in the restaurant field or with people owning some businesses, school may not be the way to go. Um, but I don't want to say that. I don't
Okay.
think so. No.
No, and I'd love to, even on another time, please. I hope that we can stay connected, because I'd love to talk to your husband about the food portions. I want to know, and to be able to test out next time I go to Atlanta, is he really put enough Hennessy in that banana pudding?
Right.
Is there enough? I'm gonna be the judge of that. Is there enough Hennessy as a 200-pound fit man, but one that loves to eat and knows something about the French cognacs? But and if you guys keep seeing me look over here, I just saw a creature that I had not seen ever that color out here in Florida, and I didn't want to shoot it live on camera. But I said, "Huh, what is that?" And so it disappeared. We'll go check that out later. Some may who know you, because I don't know if you can cook or not, but it sounds like you manage a lot of people who can cook and prepare, and you might just be somebody who knows how to navigate those who have the skill. But do you chef it up yourself, because you have the catering company as well, or do you just kind of manage those people?
No, you're absolutely right. I do not. I just really manage them. In fact, I am not a good cooker whatsoever. Some will say that's why I married a chef, because I can't.
Hmm.
But one thing I can't do, I have taught myself to cook certain things because of the restaurant, that if I needed to get in there, I already know how to do those specifics to make sure that it's still running. That I did teach myself how to do. Like I can drop chicken wings if we're in a a robot. I can drop some broccoli. I can, do those things. I can't make the mashed potatoes from scratch.
And Mrs. Davis, somebody on here is listening saying, please stop. You can drop chicken wings. Everybody can fry. Well, we love your honesty. And I promise I did not call your cousin to ask, prepare for this. So I don't ever want to embarrass anybody, but I love that because it just shows that you don't necessarily have to have that skill to have a business, and you have multiple things in food, as well as outside of food. I believe you even have, correct me if I'm wrong, Airbnb and Hills. Is that still a business that you do, and when you can talk about it, if I got that correct?
It is still a business that I do, but everybody probably throughout Atlanta knew that I had Airbnb. I had over 37 Airbnbs back when it was like flourishing. We did 37. So what most people don't know, when we did it, it was basically Airbnb arbitrage. Just basically getting corporate leases and re-renting. Well, when we ended up opening up Esco Marietta, which I told people for years that you can do, and they just didn't believe me, we sold that company to open this company.
And you sold it at the right time, because I tell you, you guys are that arbitrage. If you can't count past 10 without AI and understand cleaning and logistics, you can't clean every Airbnb to make a profit. It shocks me, and I take it personal sometimes when you hear, like, especially the young people or people that they're not there yet in business, and they start telling everybody online or even at the barber shop, oh yeah, all you have to do. And whenever I hear that, this is set it and forget it. No, it's not. It's a lot of work.
I tell, with 37 of them, trust me, it was absolutely not. No. And I'm just like you. When I'm watching someone, I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, they really don't have the legwork of the logistics to know. Because if you're going to have that many units, you yourself as well has to have a team and have a complete system, which we did. We developed a system within a year to make sure all of those units were working. Like you said, we had multiple cleaning companies, not just one. So we had multiple cleaning companies. You have to have multiple repair people. We hired a company to run the back end, which means answering all of the inquiries, because who's going to be up until 3 a.m. when they say, hey, my stove broke, I want you to come out of here. So it needs to be, and most people, I tell them, don't hire anybody who's over in the States. And they're like, well, why wouldn't I hire anybody in the States? I said, because if somebody, even if you hire someone over here, those people are going to try to wait till the following day to respond to those. If you go to another country and hire someone who over here, when it's night, it's day over there, when those different inquiries come in at a certain time, they're going to answer them because they're woke over there. That's just one of the things on learning, on hire different people in different time zones to make sure that there's not a gap in your following up. Have somebody who's going to check the Airbnbs when people check out, or they properly check. So that was like a whole legwork in itself. We developed storage units. We made sure all the units were within miles from the storage unit so that we could change out anything that was damaged and things like that.
Hello everyone, join us on an exciting journey with Explore the World Cameroon. London and Sydney will take you explore Cameroon, the heart of Africa. Experience the vibrant culture, nature and traditions, from Yaoundé market to rainforest adventures. Every page na new discovery. Join the Cameroonian food, music and wildlife with our explorers. This book na true celebration of Cameroon spirit. Get your copy now, available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and through your library and bookstores here in Grand Park. Don't miss this adventure.
Did you come from a family of entrepreneurs where you believe this? A lot of people, and I interview 2 to 3 entrepreneurs a week for the last 7, 8 years, just for this podcast alone. But I've interviewed so many people, and the hardest part is stepping out on faith and saying, I can do this. And then you have to make it work. So where did that courage come from? And where did you get that, learn that?
Actually, no, I have never had an entrepreneur family at all. I think I just became my own entrepreneur when I was younger. So even with moving to Atlanta, I already, and I guess it's coming from not necessarily poverty, but just coming from St. Louis itself. St. Louis is very dangerous. Everybody knows we're like the #1 murder capital of the world for real. So just coming from something like that and just wanting to get out and do better, and see better. I say that what really took me there was when I was from St. Louis, I just came to visit here at a young age at like 16 and 17. And back then, Atlanta still was like the mecca of Black people. So in St. Louis, growing up, I have never, and this is honest, never seen an African American person walk out of a mansion. Never seen one in one. Never been in one. Never, so it was a foreign language. So when coming out here to visit at 16, 17 years old, and at that time, it's like a whole Black area. You're just driving down the street in these big, big houses, and it's just Black people in the yard. You're like, they live there? Like, you're just so shocked. You're like, how did they get there? And then you're just learning at that time, oh, they own this. They're the owner of this. They're, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I knew that what was going to be where I wanted to do, because I wanted to possibly live in one of those houses.
So for those of you who maybe haven't been able to go to St. Louis, or maybe you've been and you're like, St. Louis isn't that bad. I went to the Arch and took the helicopter ride. I did too. But when you go, and I remember my first time, because I went to school in Kansas for a little bit before Grambling. I remember being in St. Louis and my mother saying, what are you doing in St. Louis? Saying having the same time we'd have in Oakland in the Bay Area. Because like DJ Quick said, St. Louis is just like Compton. Y'all Google that if y'all don't know that song. And so is Oakland. And St. Louis is so real and it's so small. Like to get in East St. Louis is like a shoehorn, y'all. But but the thing is, when my guy Thizzle had to get shot at, when the pastor, the Christian rapper, has to shoot at somebody in his packing, it's real. You guys check out that Chris Chicago interview he did. May Chris Chicago rest in peace. Dear good brother. But from another mother. But St. Louis, you coming from a real city where anything can happen, like many of our cities. What is that thing that got you to get out? That somebody now that's 14 or 17, they need to home on to that. Was it sports, church? What got you to get out?
No, I just think it was just like you said, just being in necessarily not poverty, just being in a space to where everybody seemed like they was doing the same thing forever. Like your grandparents are still in the same predicaments. Your parents are still in the same predicaments. There's no flourishing. So with actually growing up, I knew that I wanted to do something else. I don't know what came over me to want to have that feeling, that I always knew that I wanted to do something else. It was just every time I'm just like, I'm not going to be in the same position. I don't want to be in the same position. So I think it was more encouraging myself, of knowing that there's something out there better. And however I got to do and whatever I got to do to do it and get there, I'm going to do it. And so, at 18, 19, I packed up, me and my husband, and we left.
Ready to dominate your industry with strategy that actually scales? At Coleman Public Relations and Consulting Firm, we're not just PR experts, we're licensed sports agents certified in AI and elite business consultants with over 2 decades of experience leading global projects across multiple countries. Visit cprfirm.com, that's colemanprfirm.com, and millionairex.ai, then download the Millionaire X app, your AI-powered guide to getting out of debt, investing smarter, and building generational wealth. Coleman Public Relations and Consulting Firm. It's a family business. It's different.
So you knew him even then. Did y'all grow up together like that? Okay.
No, so we didn't grow up together. I met him when I was like 18. But as soon as we got married, I actually told him before we got married that I'm leaving. I'm not staying here in St. Louis. So if you plan on marrying me, you plan on staying here, it's not going to work. So, and he was willing to move. And as soon as we got married, we literally left in like 8-9 months.
Wow. What a beautiful story. And it just shows you guys do not believe the hype of, oh, ain't nobody getting married no more. No, there's plenty of people. And if you want, you got to maybe change your attitude, change your vision and how you see life. But don't believe just because podcasters, YouTubers are saying ain't nobody doing this. Maybe they're miserable, but don't believe the hype. Uh, what is a community give back that you are doing or one that you would like to do in the future?
Oh, we do tons of community give backs. So what we did was actually partner with the company. And I think it's called One Chance. And what we do, they do for Easter, the big Easter egg hunts. We do the big school give backs every single year. We've hosted over 3 Christmas give backs as well. So we do those throughout the entire year with that company.
Okay, okay. Have reality TV, you being in Black Hollywood, Atlanta, having multiple things, has reality TV, have you gone in any shows or been approached to say, hey, can we bring the cameras in this restaurant and show your crazy life?
We have, but more of trying to have us audition with me and my husband. So yeah, we have before and trying to come. Sometimes I think that's good. Sometimes I think it's kind of bad. So it just depends on what the reality show is actually looking for.
Crazy. You already know. L- Loco and la cabete. That's what, it's so hard to push a show that doesn't have
Crazy.
that. Yeah, I deal as a PR guy and as a consultant when you're dealing with TV, especially when it's black.
Yeah.
They want the same old because they say, well, that's what people want to see, and I say that's what you feed them. Like, so it's hard. You might as well do your own YouTube channel unless you're the man's. I'll give it to y'all. The man's y'all did as I actually enjoyed that show for the episodes. I don't watch a lot of TV, but back in the day when I saw that, I said they did it properly. They didn't have to fight. They didn't have to put nobody in no chokehold as medical doctors. They didn't have to, do a whole
Right.
bunch of nonsense. So I love it. I love it. I love it. Do you have children?
I do. I actually have 3, 2 girls and 1 boy.
What are you preparing your children? And this is your, teachable moment because a lot of people, wisdom is at an all-time low. What are you teaching them? Are they going to inherit the business knowing that these kids now don't always know what it took? So they just expect and entitled sometimes. What are you teaching your kids that the audience should probably be teaching theirs?
This is a good question because I actually was just talking to somebody about this, or we talk about this all the time to other people that we could start off by, my kids, only one of them would like to probably inherit the business, and that's my daughter, and she's 18. She's had the entrepreneurship spirit since probably the day she was born. She's followed everything that we've did. She's been working in the restaurant industry with us since she was 12 years old. Then I have my son, which is he's like, I just want to live life. He's 14. He doesn't want to work right now. He just wants to live life, play his video games, be his friend. But we're more trying to pull him over since he's getting into high school now. Like, no, you do have to work a couple hours inside the restaurant so that you can have money in your pocket. And if it's not because he doesn't like to be in a restaurant, it doesn't have to be in a restaurant, but you need to find something to do. You need to go cut some grass, wash some cars or something. You can find your own little thing that you want to do to make some money. And then we have my oldest daughter who my daughter loves, like, she doesn't want to, she has no entrepreneur want to be. She doesn't want to actually do any. She rather go home, shut off her brain, let somebody else do it, and worry about life. But one of the things that we talk to people about is that early on, I felt that, and I'm not going to say because I'm still young, but the new age kids, unfortunately, does not know a lot about life. Just the small things. I remember even asking my daughter, "What you think about riding a train?" She's like, "Ride a train," and just something small. She's like, "Ride a train by myself." It's like the train. Yeah, you can ride the train, like So that kind of stuff like that was questionable because I can understand the bus, but they don't even know how to do simple things as ride a train to read street signs correctly. You would be surprised. It's like the train says get off here, and they just don't know different things So what I found myself to try to do to get them there faster is, with our kids at 18, we let them live on their own. A lot of people would say, "Oh, my kids are going to be in the house, so they're ready to they move." That could be forever. I found it, and to me, once you do that, because I've seen this with my own eyes, if you passed away tomorrow, they have no idea how to live. You've been there, end all be all. So just putting our and both of my kids, we did this very early. So my 24-year-old, as soon as she turned 18, you can go off to college and stay in a college dorm, or we'll put you in, something small as like, because we have properties. So we can, and then we rent the different rooms. So we could put you in one of our properties in one of our apartments and you live there. So that you can learn how to take care of yourself, learn how to they don't even know how to buy groceries. And we found that, you know, testing us out with my oldest child could have been the best thing that we've ever did. So it was easier when my second child came along, who's 18 now. She basically wanted to move since she seen her sister did. She was already ready to go. I woke up and she packed her own stuff. So at 17, but my oldest daughter, me putting her out there, she was able to learn how to do everything on her own, how to pay her own car insurance, how to go to the grocery store, how to shop on herself, how to pay her own bills, how to contact, her own doctor's office, and just live everyday life without me, um, you know, in case I was not here. Same thing for my 17 when she came along. She moved out first 2 weeks and calling her, and she's just like, "Yeah, I'm a little homesick." And, she would come back for some reason, even though she had a washer and dryer. She'll come back here to wash her clothes. I'm like, "Why are you?" But now I don't see her too much at all. She don't wash her clothes anymore. She's using her own washer and dryer. She barely calls me. I have to call her, and she literally just turned 18. I have to call her to see what she's doing, how she's doing. She's just living her own life, and she's learning everything on her own, how to take care of herself.
You are preaching to me. I had two daughters, LondonandSydney.com, and they are ready. They've been ready to go just because we travel. But I was like, y'all know how to do jujitsu, but I haven't taught y'all fully how to shoot yet. Like,
Mhm.
before I let you out the house, you got to be able to be a real soldier out here, because it's interesting. Do you think, though, we could give them these homes or rooms in homes or pay for dorm rooms, but do we do them a disservice by making it easy, by paying those bills? Because a lot of us had to get it out the mud. Wasn't nobody to call, even if they could help us. They were teaching us the hard way, at least as a man. You got to get it out the mud. Like, how much is too much?
Now, that's one thing. She pays her own bills. So like I said, I'm there to cover little stuff for her, but she pays rent, real rent. Both of my daughters did. Coming out, they just didn't pay as much. So like most of the time they're paying $100 to $200 a week, because I know that that's, what I'm saying, affordability for them to get them. So that's where I had my 18-year-olds start. I mean, my now 24-year-old starting off at 200. That's like $800 a month, to where she now doesn't stay in any of our units. She stays on her own, and she's able to, she moved out of our unit and then moved on her own, and she's able to pay rent and pay her own bills. But she developed that skill by already staying somewhere that we had, because you still want to keep a grip on them. You don't want them to fall. So just keeping that grip on them and allowing her to be independent and know that even though it's one of our units and all that, if you don't pay rent, it's consequences. You're going to have to move back home, and it's like getting evicted. So, and here we have rules. And so when they ever come back or anything like that, they have now seen that freedom. And being independent and don't have to really ask you, it's like if you want, you won't go back to your parents' house. Like, it's like, I'll go back if I need help, but I really don't want to live up under my parent rules. Everybody walking around, so they want more freedom than, so they do it on their own. She does it on her own.
Gotcha. Yeah, once you get your own spot and you're out there, woo, I remember. I said, I mean, and I always had freedom. I was off the porch a little early. Life was a little different and privileged. But you could call me king out here if we were in Atlanta. Everybody, you were like king. Yeah, I was living. But yeah. That's dope. Well, we have done this. I would love to know because I saw your social media. I saw your husband's social media as well, but I did not see yet a YouTube, and y'all have plenty to do. But is there any YouTube or what's the best social media if people want to reach out? Maybe they say they want to be an investor. Maybe they want to say they want to help you with something. Whatever that is, where's the best place to connect with you?
Absolutely. It'll probably be email. And that's at the Marcia at Portrait on a Plate. We don't quite yet have a YouTube. That definitely we've been asked that so many times because I guess people are really intrigued right now on what goes on in restaurants. So like what goes on in the back end. So they can definitely look out that in their future. That seems like an avenue that we rather go through and or rather go to doing is more YouTube videos. Just to show what the actual back end because these restaurants are no joke.
Yeah, and people they want to learn, but they also want to be nosy. They want to be in your business. And you guys who listen to this, I know most of you are on Podbean and Apple and Spotify, but go over to the YouTube or wherever you can get a visual of this and go, put a voice with a face because maybe you might be the next camera person. But I really think besides YouTube, having your own platform where you can do this, where you can control it, because this YouTube is about to be AI all the way. You're not even gonna have to say or do anything. And if you're going to do it for money, you might as well bring the people over so you can play by your own rules. And it might not get you the viral sensation, but guess what? The Davises the pots are pissed in. So they don't have to worry about that YouTube money. That's all extra credit, and they can focus on their own. And so can you, no matter where you're at. Please leave them with something. You have so many restaurants from Memphis to Dallas to Georgia. Hopefully we can see something in Africa sometime soon. Pick a place, but let them know where they can find you to find out everything that you have going on.
They can actually find out from basically my social media, which is Badass Marketing Chick on Instagram. And let me make sure that I correct that part. I don't own the one in Memphis and Dallas, and I own the franchise in Marietta. That specific one, but all the other ones are franchise locations, and they all do, of course, do very well as well. But yeah, you could definitely reach me at Badass Marketing Chick. I'm usually always checking my Instagram. And the great thing is I don't charge to speak to people. So I really speak to people right now, all the time with different questions and concerns. And that's only because back in the day, I wish people, I could have asked someone else a question to get to where I am.
Definitely. Well, you guys got it, and please don't abuse it. If you heard it over here, saw it over here, don't abuse it, and don't be a gentle person, be a kind person. Think what would Jesus Christ do when you reach out to somebody?
Please.
All right, yeah, you guys have gotten the game. Make sure you can comment. You can like, they make me say that. But what I really want you to do for show, I want you to share this game with somebody. It will change their life. Y'all be blessed.
Hi guys, I'm Kai Gabiam from the Diaspora channel, a lover of Africa. If you love Africa as well and you would love to visit one day or to relocate to Africa, there is a course out there for you. And this course is My First Trip to Africa, a course well put together by a seasoned traveler, Kellen Coleman. This course is designed to prepare you to travel better, which will save you both time and money. And the great news is this course costs only $20, guys. It can't get any better. Go right now and enroll to this course at www.diversifydgame.com. Don't miss out.
Are you tired of the violence, tired of the injustice, police brutality, rampant discrimination, lack of gun control in this failed biosocioeconomic experiment called America. Or maybe you need a break from the relentless grind and want to regain control of your destiny, your wealth, your health, and your purpose. DiversifiedGame.com has the right course for you. Prepare for my first trip to Africa. Looking to reconnect with your roots, start a new business, or just a fresh start. Africa, aka the motherland, is waiting. Don't let the Chinese and the Mzungus have the fun and also take over the motherland. From Cairo to Mombasa, from Dakar to Cape Town, Africa has something for everyone, from business opportunities to the most amazing people, safety, leisure, and landscapes. The opportunities abound. It is time for the diaspora to reconnect with their roots. Time to reconnect with the birthplace of humanity. Africa is the last frontier. Get your head in the game and reclaim your legacy. The writing is on the wall. Babylon is falling. Give up the stress, grind, and violence inflicted on our people on this continent and prepare for a journey of restoration and joy by connecting with the land of your ancestors. Check out our new course and kick off your adventure at diversifiedgame.com.